down there a minute. Oops. That's all right. There we are. Evening all. Looks like we're up and running. Give us a thumbs up under the video if we are. Thank you very much. That way I know it's all working. Or type something in the comments. Let me just adjust things here a little bit. Move that way a touch. Oh, I'll cut my head off, look. So I'll obviously bang the camera on my way past it again. There we go. Yeah, that will do, won't it? Evening Paul, evening Peter, evening David. Hope you're all well. I had a bit of a jolly day today. Paul earlier on came around this afternoon, and Pete Williamson as well, who will probably be on in a bit. We spent most of the day having tea and cake. Very good. And chewing over machines and one thing and another. Some old copies of coin slot, etc. So yeah, good, jolly, fun afternoon really. So tonight, I think there's only 3 machines finishing tonight. Let's go over here for a minute. Yeah, so if you need to know anything about these, then stick a comment in below or ping me a message and I'll check all the messages once I finish the live stream, obviously. So we've got the light up Bandit, which sort of needs a bit of a refurb. But the mech runs fine. It needs a little piece for the escalator, a new bit. I'll put on there what it is. It needs the coin advance bar locking lever. So there's that one. A very nice Mills high top. This is sort of an older restoration, has mellowed down again nicely. Really nice smooth action on it. What's that one on? Sixpence. And the rather spectacular Pace Chrome Deluxe. There's chrome sides, well, a whole chrome cabinet basically, chrome and brass. Really spangly shiny thing, as you'll see on the little videos it twiddles round. So that's quite a nice thing. New stuff this past week. I put up loads and loads of spares again. So have a good look for all that lot. As you can see, there's, I don't know, 100 or more. Lots of spares on there. Loads of coins as well. Machine wise, very nice World's Fair jigsaw. Pin table. This one's got particularly nice playfield. No rust on it. On the little jigsaw pieces, which are sometimes quite rusty. And another high top, which if you scroll down the high top page, the one that's most recently for sale was always at the top, so the next one down. This one, yeah, it's pretty good actually. Could do with really good stripping and painting, I think, to make it quite smart, but is again quite a nice smooth running mech. Jackpot escalator, it's got a later chain drive escalator on it. Good back door with instruction sheet on it, a Mills snake lock and key. So yeah, it'll come up quite nicely. It's an oak sided, but it's had Formica stuck on them, but they'll strip off obviously. That's quite nice. And then I will get up tomorrow. I just haven't got around to taking photographs of it today because I've been busy sorting all these Nixsons pictures out. The big selector colour machine, which if you keep an eye on our Instagram, you'll have probably seen this picture of it perched on the back of my truck the other day. So that's now here. It's now open, so I can photograph it inside. It appears all the top electronics and everything is all there. Where they're blanked off 4 player positions, I've literally just poked the bulb holders inside and stuck a bit, took the coin slot off and stuck a bit of hardboard on or something. But then in the bottom there should be a uni-selector type unit, the same as you get in things like the Jameson Auto Fruits, all that kind of thing, those multi-slot machines, and that isn't there, unfortunately. So it needs someone who's a bit clever with the old electronics. To stick a uni-selector type thing in it. It's one of those that kind of looks more scary than it is because there's 8 of everything. If you just think of it as one player section with 4 slots, the same as an Auto Fruit type machine. Hopefully somebody will get it up and running. But the case is really good actually because it's all fiberglass. It's in pretty good nick. Bit of a bizarre thing. there we go. It's the only one there is, so hopefully someone will buy it and get it all restored. Evening, Peter. Yes, I was just saying earlier, I had a very nice cake this afternoon, courtesy of Shirley Williamson. So thanks, Shirley, if you're listening. Very nice. I've still got half a cake left. I'm doing well today because I had Peter here and Paul to share it with me, so it will last me a few more days. Marvellous. So there we are. As I say, anything you need to know about these 3 that are finishing tonight, ping me a message via the website. It's probably the best bet, and I'll check them later on. Once we finish this stream. So, I have been communicating with Nick Carter, who is the grandson of Nick Carter of Nixsons and Nixsales machines. So if you go down here, where are we? N. I'll just alter this page slightly. These were easier to see left aligned. When they were centered, it was a bit difficult sometimes to read them for some reason. Anyway, so Nixsons machines, we've got 24 listed down there, and Nixsales another 12, so there's 36 machines there. I think there still might be 1 or 2 more perhaps we're missing, but we're going pretty well on these. A lot of them I've got images for, which I'll show you shortly. If you've got images of any of them, if you know that any exist anywhere, there's not many of them surviving as far as we know, not many at all. Considering they're only, 60s, 70s machines, it's a bit odd really. But of course they're all big stuff, and the big stuff just didn't get kept. But we're hoping we might find 1 or 2 more somewhere that I don't know about, and Nick doesn't know about either. I have been sort of twisting his arm with the possibility of doing a bit of a filmed interview type thing in the future. Possibly a little bit of a road trip around the country to see what machines there are left. So again, it would be nice to try and find some more to make that into something worth watching really. So there we are. So he sent me a whole load of pictures. They're mostly sort of factory pictures that were taken for adverts to put in the coin slot and stuff like that. Some flyers, some other interesting news clippings. I'll upload all this stuff to the website later on. So let me try and click the right button. So if you've got any comments on any of this stuff, if you've seen any, know where there are any, got one, remember one, whatever, let us know as we go along, and I'll try and what I can do then is add any notes in later on to see where we are. So this obviously is a flyer. The action stations is a great big machine, very similar to the Sega Periscope, of which there's a good article somewhere I found on the internet all about a kind of debate over who first made it, whether it was Nixsons, whether it was Sega, whether it was Namco, I think it was. It kind of appeared 2 or 3 makers all at the same time. There's quite a big controversy over who made it. But anyway, there's Nixson's version of it. And also the Big Teeter. As far as we know, there's no action stations. The Big Teeter, there's one on Southport Pier. And there's hopefully one somewhere else. There was one in Michael Jordan's collection down in Kent. No one seems to know where that one is at the moment. Like the rest of his stuff, it kind of disappeared, unfortunately, when Michael died. So hopefully that one might appear at some point. So that's that flyer. Let me click the right button so I can get this roll on to the next one. Here we are. This looks quite good fun. Evening, Jim. So this is the Autodrome car racing, 1 to 8 players, threepenny play. I can't quite see from this angle. I'm not sure if Nick's with us tonight or not. If he is, he might enlighten us, or if not, hopefully in due course. If this was just a flashing light thing, or if it was a 3D model, it kind of looks like it might be like a 3D model of racing cars going around, presumably. Just because of the fact I can just about see on the left-hand side of the image. You can't see where my mouse is pointing, which is really annoying. But in the kind of trapezoid windows, if you look in the left-hand most window at the bottom, there's what is the finish arch, like the finish arch on a Grand Prix track, with some lights above it. So I don't know, but I'm guessing it had cars racing around it or something. What seems to be interesting with these Nixon machines is, whereas like the Whitakers and the Cromptons and Brenco and those other multiplayer betting type machines had a slot for each playing position had 5 slots or 8 slots or however many betting positions there were, if you like. Nick says, yeah, slot racer. These seem to be, as far as I can make out, each player position was each different car. I'm not explaining that very well, am I? So if you think of like the Whitaker's horse race, you all know the 5 horses. Each player could bet on any one of the 5 horses from each player position. So they had 5 slots per position. But it kind of seems like the Nixon machines, you had to physically move around the machine to bet on a different horse, if you like, or on a different car in this case. So that's quite interesting. So yeah, it'd be nice to see a slightly higher up image of this machine to see what the playfield was like on it. So hopefully somebody somewhere will have an image of one, or if anybody remembers playing one. Quite a smart looking machine. Looks like a fairly big lump again. So yeah. So that's called Autodrome, that one. Most of these we know what year they were made in, which are on the relevant pages on the website. So as they where are so Autodrome 1960. So we'll try and remember to tell you what year they are as we go through. Okie dokie, and then the next one, we've got the Auto Putt, which, if I remember right, Nick said this one never made it into production. This was a prototype. So a factory picture of an automatic golfing game with a water wheel in it. And I'm not quite sure what the idea was. Get the ball into the water wheel somehow or other. So that one, it was 1963, but yeah, didn't go into production. I like the idea. It appears that the golf clubs are not on a bit of string or anything, just sort of sticking to the side of the machine. So you can imagine how long they'd last in an arcade, can't you? Maybe in 1963 they would have lasted, but I don't think they'd last very long today, would they? Someone getting bashed over the head with them. So yeah, but quite an impressive looking thing. But yeah, Auto Putt, kind of a, I suppose it's kind of a slight variation, like a ski roll type machine, isn't rolling the ball up the slope to hit the relevant target. So there we are. So that's Auto Putt. The next one we've got here, another advertising image of Bazooka and Tita. There's a Bazooka on Southport Pier and a Tita, as it happens. I think, as far as we know, I think it's probably the only Bazooka that's left. And to say, as far as we know, it's one of 2 Titas, the one on Southport, the other one being Michael Jordan's, wherever that one is. Hopefully in store somewhere still. Doesn't seem to have materialised. So the Bazooka machine is 1968. Tita is 67. And the Bazooka machine, if you don't know, it had, I think there's a better picture here actually. Slightly better angle. So the Bazooka, these kind of knobs on the top of the kind of console where you put your coins in, you turn the knobs to direct the gun, it fire the coins out. I think I read somewhere it did 120 could fire 120 coins a minute into those pockets you see on the playfield. And I think it said if the pockets, when they get 12 coins in, they automatically empty anyway. But otherwise, if you hit them, must be some target area to hit or whatever. Then that empties whatever's in the pocket. Obviously, you're losing coins, just fill the pockets up. So it sounds quite a fun machine, really. I think a trip to Southport Pier is called for to go and play it. So yeah, with an interesting backflash with tanks on a beach with palm trees. Why not, I guess? So that 68 obviously would have been on old pennies, firing old pennies. I think old pennies is a big coin to be fired at 2 a second, if you could shove them in the slot that quickly. Yeah, quite a violent thing, I think. Paul says he could never get them to tip. Maybe there was some adjustment to make it really difficult to play. I don't know. But yeah, sounds like a fun machine. So I'll have to try and get a photograph of it. Go to Southport sometime and get a photo with the actual machine, surviving machine, and the tea to come to that as well. So that was Bazooka. Then we've got Beat the Favourite, which horse race machine, kind of along the lines of the Whitaker's, Derby, etc. Again, as I say, as far as I can see, you've got, unless I'm wrong, and no doubt Nick will correct me, to bet on horse number 8, it looks like you need to be physically in position number 8 on the machine. And if you want to bet on horse number 5, you've got to go over, put your coin in horse number 5, rather than being able to bet on each horse from each position. But I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, obviously a double-sided machine. But meant to go against the wall with a pretty impressive backflash on there. Can't quite read what it says. Exciting something. Exciting something. Yeah, not sure. We'll try and colorise some of these pictures and see if we can get a little bit more detail out of them. Again, as far as we know, none survive of that one. Just a great big lump again. So if you've seen one, know one, remember one, then let us know. Yeah. Now the next one I've got on here, we should be late with this, so I'll put these in alphabetical order. This is an egg vending machine. Called letter X, O-matic. X-O-matic. Exomatic. Apparently Nick was liked to play on words. So the Exomatic sounds quite like a Wallace and Gromit contraption to me, which was rather fun. Now we actually sold one of these back in, if you remember, 3 years ago, whenever it was, we did an auction up north of a big reclamation yard that was closing down. And I actually sold one of these. Didn't know what it was at the time, other than it was an egg vending machine, but didn't know who made it. We sold it for the princely sum of £5. So there we are. So there's that one somewhere. This one, and I think Nick said he saw another one selling at auction somewhere as well. So there's 2 or 3 of those to survive. But yeah, if you think of a vending machine handling a fresh egg, that's quite an achievement, really, isn't it? Quite a bit of mechanical ingenuity in that, I'm sure. So that's a fun machine. Oops, there we go. Next 2 or 3, Paul sent me these over this afternoon, Paul Mitchell. So this is the Flip It On pusher, which is down at Watermouth Castle. Now what's interesting about this is the little footballers in the goal. And originally, you can probably see better on this next picture, where the coin slots are, which are kind of these brass square boxes, were cast iron footballer figures. You put the penny in the front of their feet and flicked the leg, and it kicked the penny onto the playfield. Now I haven't got any pictures of them here now. I sent some pictures to Nick earlier on. We've sold over the years several penny football kicker figures, which I know were used on fairground round stalls with roll down tables. And I wondered if they are the same figure. Now I always understood those figures to be 1930s, pre-war. So whether they are or not, I don't know. Whether that's the figures that Nixsons used on this machine, or vice versa, where they used on the machine first, and then some enterprise and showman thought, oh, they're good, we'll put them on a round stall. I don't know. So we're looking into that one. I managed to get a splinter in my hand somewhere along the line today. But apparently the problem was they just broke, the cast iron legs broke on them. And so over time they just got replaced with these boxes, as this one is now down at Watermouth Castle. So there's a bit of another view. It gives you a great big thing. So that's the Flip It On pusher. So that's the only one we know of down at Watermouth Castle. I think there's only one of those left. Unless anybody knows different. A bit bigger, slightly wider view of it. Much the same cabinet as the Teeter. So next up we've got Fun with the Stars. This one's been colorized. Now, you remember last week, was it, we were looking at some pictures that Gary sent us, I think, and there was a picture on Great Yarmouth Beach, we decided it was in the end, of a load of machines which were burnt in the protests about the Gaming Act in the mid-60s. And there was 2 of these Fun with the Stars machines on that picture. These were a copy of the Cromptons, or Crompton and Bates, actually, Film Stars machine, which was the first machine that Cromptons built, or Cromptons and Bates, before Cromptons then went off on their own to build the first pushers. So this was Nixon's version of the same thing, basically. And that thing that was the Cromptons ones in the Canvey Island stores, which I showed you the pictures of. So there we are. So there's the black and white one. So it's the same photograph, just been colorized up, and so you kind of get to see a bit more detail when they're in color in a way. It's quite interesting. Chris said, I remember playing one in Yarmouth in about 1960. 1 watt. If you're commenting on the machines, it would help if you stick which machine you're talking about, because there's about a minute delay by the time your comment comes out my end. So occasionally you'll say, I remember this machine, and I'll have moved on a picture or two my end. So if you just let me know what machine you're referring to, if you're putting a comment in, that'd be useful. So Chris, if you remember playing the Film Stars machine, it could well be the one that was burnt on the beach in those pictures. That'd be kind of spooky, wouldn't it? Fun with the Stars. Yeah, there you go then. I don't think I haven't got it loaded up on my on this broadcast thing at the moment. But I will, when I add all these photos onto the Nixsons pages, I'll put that photo up with it as well on that page. That's a kind of an archive picture. So yeah, That'd be weird if it was that very machine that you that then got burnt on the beach. Okay, so that's fun with the stars. The next one, these are, I'm sure I sold one of these years ago for the fun phone. I don't know how well you'll see the writing at the other end. Hopefully it comes out okay. But the gist of it was, you know, put your coin in the slot, pick up the phone, and you got told jokes by a comedian's name who I've now forgotten. I only read it a little while ago in one of the press cuttings that Nick sent through to me. But anyway, a northern comedian recorded the tapes, and you could swap the tapes around. There was two versions. There was this version with the telephone on, which apparently was for the more slightly naughty jokes, to be used in pubs and clubs and whatnot. And then there's a little wall-mounted version with a little man in it, which again, I think I sold one of those. I seem to remember seeing one somewhere. I was selling one years ago, back in the Huntington auction days or the village hall days when we were selling stuff, whatever. So like a wall machine, like the little wall-mounted pusher case size, that kind of size of machine with a little man in it. Looks like it might be an action man or something, holding a microphone and a loudspeaker in the bottom. So they were for the tamer jokes for the family audience, for the kids or whatever. But along with the telephone was for the naughty jokes apparently, so they sound quite fun. So I don't know if any of these survive, but I do seem to recall selling one or something very like it. I don't know if anybody else made something similar or not. A long time ago, and a lot of that stuff back then I just haven't got photographs of that we sold. So we shall see if anyone remembers. Let me know. So next up, this is a couple of pictures that Paul sent me in of the goalie machine, which is the follow-on from the Flip It On with the footballers on. Taken out of a clip of Playland Arcade, I think this is. So there's not a huge amount of detail in them, but you know, we make do with what we've got for the moment. There's also a Penny Lane, Mayfield Penny Lane in the background. But basically the same thing. This one was called Goalie. Apparently it was the last pusher that Nixsons made. So hopefully we'll be able to find a better picture of one of those. Again, as far as we know, none survive, which is kind of a shame. Let me just scroll down here a little bit so I know where I'm up to. Where are we? Goalie. Yep, there we are. Oops. Sorry, I'm juggling lots of screens my end, so what am I looking for? Right, here we go. Okay, right, next one. This machine here in the foreground is Golden Arrow, 1962. And then in the background there, bingo equipment. I was trying to work out also, there's a picture on the wall, on the extreme left of the picture. There's a interesting looking machine on that. I don't know what that is. I presume it's another one of Nixson's machines, so perhaps Nick will take a magnifying glass to the real photograph in his album and we can find out what that one is. Yeah, the Golden Arrow, I presume it's a spinning arrow type thing. Again, as far as we know, no survivors. 1962, that one. Just trying to see from my picture, it looks like one in the background, looks like it might be tote race, does it say? Is it a horse racing thing? I think it's a horse racer. Looks like there's horses on the very top of the top flash. I think it's a tote race. Interesting. Hopefully we'll find out what it is. Okie dokie, next one. This is Indy 500. Indy 500 is 1969. Sort of a car steering type of game. And there's a picture as well, sort of a catalogue picture. So it looks like, I think there's a rear projection they look like, or not rear projection maybe, but angled up projection for the track. So rather than the early ones like the Orange machines and the who else made them? 2 or 3 people made them, didn't they? Like the rolling road type thing, which was a big drum with a physical road on, and you move the car from left to right. The Orange one, I've got one. There's another one in America. And then you had the come to me in a minute, the make of them. Anyway, this is projection, I think. This is an accelerator pedal on the bottom as well, go a bit faster. Paul earlier on was telling me about a French one, which sounded quite fun, and even more complicated. It had a more like a, it seemed more kind of like a pinball shape of machine, if you like. So the roadway was a track, a belt, like a belt sander, if you like, a big belt. But it also had gear stick on it, brake and accelerator, and you had to change gears to get the thing going faster and faster, and then you'd come up to a set of traffic lights, crossroads, pedestrian crossing or whatever, so you had to brake and slow down, and then go through the gears again to speed back up again to go through it. So it's really quite a complicated, quite sophisticated thing, that one particular one. That sounds quite interesting, never seen one. So Indy 500 again, don't think any survive unless anybody knows different. This next one, find the correct button. Knockabout, the machine of 1977, no less. So this is an air hockey type game. But it says here rather delightfully, a plate glass cover ensures no pilfering. We don't want pilfering, do we? So in other words, you can't nick the puck. So that's a good idea. I'm not sure, can't make out how you actually kind of control the thing, because, you know, on an open top air hockey table you have the bat things, don't you? Things that look like a sombrero that you hold on to whack the puck around. So how you hit it on this, I don't know. Looks like there might be something on the end of the table. Some kind of lever or something. But Britain's principal air game manufacturer, so there we are. I didn't even know they were that early, actually. I don't really remember seeing air hockey until sort of the, I don't know, mid-80s maybe. There you go, learn something every day, as they say. What did we, oh yes, 77, that one. Next up is the Mini Teeter, which we know do survive because I've sold 2 of them. So one's up at Maryvale, Pete Williamson's collection there. There's one in a private collection, which the other one we sold. And we know where there's another one, but I can't tell you where. We're not at liberty to say where, but there is 3 of them that I know of. They're quite sweet little machines. So the one, if any of you ever remember playing one travelling arcade that used to go to Nottingham Goose Fair, amongst other places. That is the one that is now at Merivale. That was bought brand new and travelled all its life, believe it or not. And that arcade, that showman, whose name will come to me in a minute, that was the very last machine they sold off all their machines over the years. And that was the one they kept all that time until we sold it, whenever it was. Not that long ago, was it? Let's have a look on the website here. 2015 we sold it. Yeah. So there you go, it's Mini Cheetah. So that is one that we do know survives. Quite a sweet little machine it is as well. Okay, next up is the Noughts and Crosses Bowler. Now, I think Nick said they only made about where are we? Why can't I find this? Oh, it's because it's Nixsales, not Nixsons, isn't it? This one. Yeah, they only made about 20 of these, 10 of which went to an amusement park in America. So only 10 were here in any case. So yeah, big old thing. So I don't think you're going to find one of those. So there we are, the new Noughts and Crosses Bowler machine. Okie dokie. And then next up we've got the Olympic Ski Run. So this one, I've got a note, the Olympic Ski Run. Let me just find the note. Olympic Ski Run. So this was made about 1970. They made about 70 of them. £345, brand new. Then when Nixsons went bust in 1970, the rights were sold to Cromptons, and they carried on making it as the skier. Slightly different, but very nearly the same. I think the front panel's slightly different, and maybe the controls different. The little dial on the front there, the fault meter. On the Cromptons one, let me just bring up the Cromptons one in the background here. I've got a picture of that. Cromptons skier. There we go. So I'll take you to the next picture. So you've got all three of the Carters on this one. Nick Carter Senior, Nick Junior in the middle there, who's the Nick who's with us tonight, and then Reg on the right there. I've got them the right way around. Yeah, so this is the Olympic ski, and this is Nixson's version of it. And then it says, if I click the correct button over here on the website, this is Crompton's version. You can see it's virtually identical, other than the top panel, and slight difference in the sort of the whatever you call it, the control panel, where the coin slot and the fault dial is. But, very minor differences. So yeah, so that one kind of lived on. Don't know of any of those that survive, either the Crompton's ones or the original Nixsons ones. So if anybody knows of any of those, if you've seen one anywhere, it'd be interesting to know. This next one looks good fun. Pilot a boat. Yeah, pilot a boat by remote control. So yeah, big. This looks like a double-sided thing. Huge machine. Big load of baddies in the background there as well. I don't know, so this is obviously an arcade somewhere along the line. And yeah, does what it says on the tin really. Steer your little boats around the place. Again, another one, no survivors as far as we know. Unless anybody knows any different. And next up, we've got, here we go, Powerboat Race. So this seems to be much like the Skier in principle and the, what was the other one? The Indy 500. That same kind of idea of steering along the course, basically. But just a bit of a different theme. Powerboat race, this one. I keep forgetting to tell you what years these are. Go back to here. Oops, forward. Nixsons Powerboat Race is about 1970. And the pilot a boat, what year was that one? I haven't got a year for that one. The ski runners again was 1970. There we are. So it's Powerboat Race. This one, Revolvo. Don't know what that does, but it looks interesting. It's obviously a 3-player machine with some kind of revolving type of playfield. I don't know whether Nick will tell us in a minute if he remembers whether it fires the penny up into the revolving cups or a ball maybe or something. I don't know. But you can see it's kind of funnel shaped with a playfield with some cups on it. Well, they look like cups to me anyway. And funneling back down toward the coin slot. So yeah, Revolvo. What did that do? Anybody got any ideas? Another one of no survivors as far as we know. That one is 1968. And they made about 50 of them, so they're out there somewhere. Or they were out there somewhere, I should say. 50 Revolvos, as far as we know, none left. But it looks quite a fun machine. So that's Revolvo. Next one, again, is another one that never actually got made. Which is kind of a shame. Shoot a Fruit. So this was made in 1974, but never went into production. So the idea seemed to be, I'm not sure if I think they're physically revolving targets on the back flash or flashing lights. I think they're physically revolving targets. And underneath each of those main circles is a little target which says stop start. So you shot the stop start target to try and get 3 matching fruits on the 3 big reels, like on a fruit machine. So it says insert coin for 8 shots. Stop the reels on similar fruits by shooting at the targets, which is the little target underneath, the 3 big discs. When 3 alike symbols are shown, shoot at target stars when lit. Pays 2p every hit, 10p maximum. So obviously you were going to use up some of your shots in getting the 3 alike symbols. When you've got 3 symbols alike, then the stars start lighting up, and for each star you hit, you get 2p, as I understand it. So quite a fun game, really. Maybe a bit too complicated, I don't know. There's a spelling mistake on the flyer as well, interestingly. It says when 3 alike symbols, S-Y-N-B-O-L-S, instead of symbols. It's quite fun, isn't it? So whoever was responsible for their copy proofreading got that one wrong, which was good fun. So yeah, again, you're not going to find one of those because they didn't make them. Other than presumably the one, is that a photograph? I don't know. If it's an illustration, actually, I'm not entirely sure whether they built one or whether that's just a drawing, I don't know. Anyway, shooter fruit. 6 shooter. So 6 shooter is 6. There's 16 shooter and there's 6 shooter for different years. So 6 shooter is 1974. A brand new dice game for the modern operator. 2 games for 1p. 4, 6 and 10p payout. So 3 dice kick up the playfield, up the slope playfield, 1 at a time, and any 2 6s pay. So how that worked, I don't know. How did it know what was on the dice? So unless they were predetermined dice, like on Buckley Bones type machine. So it just gives the illusion of the dice tumbling, but they're actually not. They're in between 2 plates of glass, like on the Bones. And so the dice disappear from view, and then, you know, predetermined dice then fires back up the playfield. Don't know. Never seen one, but there we are. 1974, again, as far as we know, no survivors. But quite an interesting thing. 6 shooter. Next up, we've got the Skillcraft Model Marina. That's just the front of the brochure for a second or so. And then we've got inside of the brochure. You probably can't read this on the screen because of the resolution, but obviously, as I say, once they're uploaded on the website, you better have a good read of them. There's basically a big tank full of boats, remote control boats. There's an actual photo of it at Blackpool. Interesting on here, the banner across the top says Mini Marina. On a couple of there's a couple of odd press release articles as well. Some say Mini Marina, some say Model Marina. So I guess right at the release, they weren't quite sure what it was going to be called. But on their on the official flyer, it's Model Marina. So there we go. Now this next machine is one we're all going to want to buy, which we're going to fight over if one ever comes up for sale. This is the Skill Tease. The 6 shooter cups look the same as the colour selector machine we viewed today. Oh, are they? Let me look at that again. 6 shooter, it's interesting. They do a bit actually, don't they? Yeah. I'll have to have a check of that later on. Yeah, good spot. Yeah, so the Skill Tease, one of a new breed of machines from Nixsales. So the Skill Tease is, what year is that? Oh, we haven't got a year. But it says it's from Nixsales, so it's post 1970, early 70s. And it's 2p or 5p. So again, it's obviously post 71. Every goal scored reveals more of a gorgeous girl. 5 goals for a complete strip. Nothing offensive. Time for fast takings. A robust, attractive cabinet designed for all locations. Site tested, maximum play appeal. 20 different girls. So it seems to be some kind of slide projection-y type thing. Fun with Skill Tease, it says on the back there. A score of gorgeous girls. A score, 20, get it? 20 lovelies. Score 5 goals to strip. So yeah, good fun machine. Now, I did ask Nick earlier on if I was talking to Pete Williamson earlier on about, there was a couple of machines that we both fondly remember. We both tried like hell to buy and couldn't, which were up in Norfolk somewhere, and I've forgotten where they were. Peter will tell us in a minute. They were life-size models, like shop dummy models of girls, women. And it was a shooting game, quite a big thing, like they were rifles or pistols, whichever they were. And as you shot the target, the girl stripped her clothes off. They were kind of hinged, so a bra would fling open or a skirt would fling round or whatever, all on kind of hinged. And the idea was to shoot all the targets to strip all her clothes off. Those two machines we desperately tried to buy. Neither of us could. And don't know where they went. I think they might have got skipped. But I did ask Nick earlier on if, because of these other strip machines, and there's another one in a minute you'll see, I thought, oh, there's a kind of a bit of a similar theme going on there to some of the Nixsons machines, but no, they weren't Nixsons, and he can't shed any light onto who made them either. But if anybody remembers them, knows anything about them, then do let me know. Especially if you know where they went. It wasn't, I mean, it wasn't that long ago. It's probably 20 years ago now, but time flies. Monte Carlo Arcade in Hemsby, there we are. Thank you, Peter. I knew it was up that way somewhere. Yeah, and there's two of them next to each other. But no, they just could not be bought. And that was the end of it. Wouldn't even entertain the conversation, basically. Obviously, it just took so much money, and I could see why. This is when I had the big arcade up at Botany Bay, so they would have gone up there, and I'm sure took a lot of money. But they went somewhere, and probably in the skip, sadly. But yeah, but skill teas, we don't know of any of those surviving. If you can remember one of those anywhere. Have I got any notes of how many of those they made? No. I haven't got any notes on that one. But seems like quite a fun machine. Again, there's the interesting play on worlds of the score of gorgeous girls, etc. So, Soccer Caster. Another great big flashy light type machine. Quite like this one because it's a bit deco. I do like a bit of deco. This one is 1959. It's very much like the film Fun with the Stars, which was a year earlier, 1958. And it looks like basically the same machine with a different top on it, as far as I can make out. Flashy light type thing. So one column must win. A line every time. So yeah, another great big lump, none of which will survive, no doubt, but quite a spectacular thing. Kind of chrome, looks like it's all chrome framing around the top. The big light up scoreboard. So it must have been a good bit of flash in the arcade. It's the black and white version of the same picture in a storeroom there somewhere, the workshop presumably. So yeah, quite like the look of that one. Soccer Caster. Next one is the Striker Air game. Striker is a 70s one, so that'll be a Nixsales one. 1974. air hockey type of thing again. Tempe play, adjustable timer, stainless steel playfield, trouble-free, fast, exciting, competitive price, only 6 by 4 foot. With a special payments plan, no less. So interestingly, this one does seem to not have the glass top. Be more like we know air hockey now, where you can physically get hold of the puck and the bat things, whatever you call them. So I wonder whether the earlier one just wasn't popular or didn't take off with the enclosed puck and bats or something. I don't know. But obviously not a double-ender either, as we know air hockey usually. Only single-ended meant to go against the wall. So that's quite interesting. Next we've got a couple of images of teeter. Let's say there's one on Southport Pier, and there was at least a few years ago Michael Jordan's one, which none of us seem to know where it is, what happened to it. But they seem to have a couple of versions of the teeter with the flag top on, like this one, which Michael Jordan's was like that, with the flag on the top. And then this other version with a top flash that spanned from side to side, which I'm guessing probably lit up as well. But otherwise the same machine. So this is the big teeter, huge thing, 12 player. So at least one survives, but I think 2 survive. I'm hoping 2 survive. That's that. Next we've got, this is a little flyer. Why this scan's come out a bit funny. I've got there'll be a better scan uploaded onto the website. So I'll just skip past this one briefly because I've got better images of this anyway. There's a little comedian. So this is the other version of the one with the telephone on, the whatever it was called, Fun Phone, 1973. So this is kind of the family version. And then the one with the telephone on was for the naughtier jokes, so not everybody could hear. And then the Zodiac Fortune Teller, it's again 73, which there's a few of them about. I sold a couple. Peter's got one in his arcade, 2 or 3 others about. So this is a bit better flyer of the comedian. It looks like, the little figure looks like, I think it's probably an Action Man or something, one of those. I don't know. But I'm sure we've sold one of these over the years. I think there's one, at least one existing somewhere. Or I've seen one. But generally when I've seen stuff, because I've sold it. So yeah. The comedian. So that, next up is, oh, let's tell you what year that was. The comedian was 1973. 1973. I should have lightened this one up a little bit, shouldn't I? 1975. Jim said a flock-haired Action Man. Yeah, I think it is an Action Man, isn't it? I was never really into Action Man. Brand new for 1975, a multiplayer, the Whisker. This is a 16-player machine. 2, 6 and 10p payout, bright new cabinet, must for every operator. See also the 6-shooter, which was the dice one, wasn't it? 6-shooter. And the Zodiac Mark II. So the Whisker, this you see this badge Streets on the bottom. It was made, Streets was their distributor at the time, but it was actually made by Nixsons, or Nixsales as it was then. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what it does. Don't know actually what it does. Like the coins go onto the playfield and do something. But no doubt all will be revealed in time. We'll find out what it did. If anybody remembers one. But yeah, feral lump, isn't it? So that's 75. This is quite an interesting thing. This one dates from 1963. Watch yourself on television. I should probably perhaps try and put a bit more contrast in the picture. It says, see yourself appear on television and have a certificate to prove it. And on the side it says, how do you look? Television screen test, sixpence certificate. So yeah, presumably it's just a video camera hooked up to a TV, which would have been very novel in '63. I see yourself on telly and then spout a certificate of some sort, presumably not with a picture of you on. That would have been far too sophisticated for then. But I guess just some little ticket to say you've been on TV or something. Again, another one, no survivors. Unsurprisingly, because it looks enormous. It must have been quite a thing. I've got a year on that one. 63, that one. Next up is World Flight. That's one where we've colorized the picture a little bit. World Flight, this is 1959. Again, a sort of flashy light betting type thing, but with this odds meter and the top kind of big dial. So the lighted panel denotes the winner and the pointer indicates the odds. Again, interesting, it appears you have to stand in front of the thing you want to bet on rather than being able to bet on any selection from any position. Looks like a double-sided from the angles of the photograph. So what's that, a 10 player? So World Flight, that was, what did I say, it was 1959 again, yep. It's kind of variation on those the film stars type thing and whatnot. Next up, this is the X. I'm not sure what this did exactly, but it seems to have a lady on the back post who's lost her top again. As I don't know, we've got no details on this one. X is, this is 1970. Which is 1D on the top, so it must be right at the end of. So it looks like there's a playfield with a bit like a skee ball type target. Maybe fire a coin into or a ball into or something. I'm guessing it's the same again if you hit the target. The lady strips, presumably. Don't know. Hopefully Nick will fill us in on what that did. There's a press cutting somewhere saying it was quite a hit, unsurprisingly. So yeah, anybody remember the X machine? I like the fact it's just called Presumably you could put 3 of them in the row, you'd have XXX. But yeah, again, as far as we know, none survive. Which is kind of a shame, isn't it? Paul's going to be very busy in his shed building stuff. I think there's going to be lots of orders going in. We've already got him 4 or 5 orders for Tinky Winkies. David says the 1610 players must have been a lot of license. Yeah, I think that's why a lot of them got smashed up and there was one dragged out onto the beach and burnt, like we saw in those photographs before. Because of that, and this, like the selector colour machine I've got here now, why 4 player positions out of 8 were taken out of use because it cut it down from 32 slots to 32 slots to 16 slots. So yeah, that law had a lot to answer for getting rid of some really interesting machines. I think it's when a lot of this stuff went off. You know, and just got smashed up, burnt, whatever. Shame, because some really interesting stuff, as you've seen. Next up is the exciting Zingo machine. Another flashy light type thing, but a bit of a different format. Zingo, this is 1959. So kind of similar, you know, to the other kind of flashy light machines. Can't quite read the instruction panels on that one. Might be able to really zoom into the photograph. Jim, when did the law come into effect? Can't remember offhand. 1960 something or other. I should know these things, shouldn't I? But I don't offhand. But it was quite a big thing at the time. There were lots of, I think all the big seaside resorts had protests, bonfires on the beach, of burning machines. Yeah. So yeah, the exciting Zingo. And then the Zodiac. I sold 2 or 3 of these. So this is the Zodiac, the original Zodiac. I'm trying to figure out what the difference is between the Zodiac and the Zodiac Mark II. You can identify them from the, you'll see it on the Zodiac here, the original one. On the control panel, if you like, you've got the dial to set your month, the slider to set your date, and then the coin slot, all on that sloping panel. So that's on the Mark I version. I've got a flyer here for it. So 1973, I think this came out. Let me just check. 1973, yep. So this is the original Zodiac. £195. This is the new 1974 price as well of £195. So black cabinet with these sort of stenciled on Zodiac symbols and whatnot. This is one actually I bought with a load of Nicholson working models. I sold this one when I had the auction on the pier. You might remember then. But again, it's got that little slot next to the, you know, on the sloping panel. As it happens, I did take a picture of the inside of it. There you go. So I'll put all these up on the website. And then this is the Mark II version. And the only visible difference seems to be, it does advertise the fact that the Mark I ones are black, so presumably the Mark II ones are white or cream, whatever colour it is. But the coin slot has moved. Instead of being on the sloping panel, it's now down on the bottom panel to the top right of the door. And there's the flyer for it. It doesn't say as much on there. Trouble-free mech, figure nods head during operation, crystal ball illuminates, which it does on the number 1 as well. Card supply bus ready crossed, just drop another pack in, so that's handy. So Zodiac Mark II is 1975, I think. But other than the different, you know, with a better coin slot with a rejector on it, which the previous one doesn't have. Don't know what other differences there are. Yeah. So there we are. So I think that is. Peter says Mark II has Formica. Ah, there we go. That could be it then. Yeah, the black one, that one I had 2 or 3 pictures back. This one was painted. Yeah, so I think that is all of the Nixsons stuff I've got at the moment. Picture-wise, I'll let these run through while we have a bit of a chit-chat. Hopefully if I click the right button. Have I clicked the right button? Probably not. Hang on a minute. Ah, there we go, it's running again. So there's probably, if you look on the 2 pages, Nixsons and Nixsales, I think there might be 1 or 2 machines that we haven't got any images for, but not many. We've got something, at least something for most of them, I think. And there's also, I've got quite a few interesting sort of press cuttings and things I can get some details from, or I'll just put the cuttings up and you can read them. But what we really want to know is, are there any more machines anywhere that we don't know about? If anybody knows of any anywhere, if you've got one, know one on site, it would be nice to know. Mark 1 could have 1 motor, or some have 2 motors. There obviously are some differences. So as I say, we're tentatively might do some kind of filmed interviewee type thing at some point in the future. Because it's nice to have that direct contact with a family member who knows all about this stuff and all these resources. Go and film the surviving machines that we know of, and intercut with the photographs of stuff where there's none left. But there's interesting stories with, I guess the TGU, of course, Paul, yeah. There's 2 of those that we know of. Because the Nixsons owned, or part-owned, Shanklin Pier on the Isle of Wight, or the Carters, I should say, rather. The family who owned Nixsons. And there's connections with Billy Butlin, making boat rides for the Butlin's Parks and other stuff, bingos, making perspex signs for rides and things. So yeah, and what else? Something else Nick told me today. A hire company, I think there was, a machine hire company that went from all the way along the south coast. There's quite a lot of interesting kind of interconnected family history there. You know, it'd be great to get this stuff sort of recorded down. You know, it all kind of pieces together the history of all this stuff, doesn't it? And who knows, you might just find some more somewhere. So yes, the TSU pusher, which you'll just see is about a second clip of it, I think, in the little promo video for Paul's DVD. So we'll make sure when I go down the film we get that in properly. So I'm sure the telephone one, what's it called, the fun phone, was it, or something? I'm working on 2 pages here, so let me just pop that back on there like that, so I can see both pages on my end. The fun phone, I'm sure we've sold one of those or seen one somewhere. and also the comedian, the little action man in the box that tells the jokes. So I think there might be one of each of those somewhere. I think it says the Tease You cab is a comedian cabinet. Ah, there you go. Have I even got the Tease You listed? I think I have, haven't I? Perhaps I haven't. Wish I had Tease You. David said, used to like playing the Indy 500. Yeah. Indy 500, the car racing thing. Yeah, that looks vaguely familiar. I'm sure I've seen one in my lifetime, but whether there's any, I don't know of any that survive anywhere. It'd be nice to find one. It's interesting how it evolved on from. Have I got a picture? I don't think I've got a picture of the orange one. Which I think is the earliest one. I'm not entirely sure. Have I got a picture of it up? No, I haven't yet. He says, trying to find the right page. Get so much stuff on the website, I can't find the page I'm looking for. Steer a car, yeah, 1936 I've got Arons down as. And there's various other people made very similar things with a revolving drumming to steer the car up and down. Such as, he says, desperately trying to find the correct page, driving games. Yeah, the road test, the Myers road tests, and singles and doubles. 36 again, I got them down for. Rougher and Walker, we sold a Rougher and Walker one. The Brighton Run, the later one, the 1960s one. 1970s version by Bally. So yeah, that kind of thing went on for quite a while, that game. That idea, rather. Interestingly. It must have been a good concept. Oops. So yeah, there we are. So some quite interesting stuff there. The drum ones were the best, yeah. So the Arons one, the 1936 Arons one, as far as I know, there's two. There's one in John Carter's book, Arcades and Slot Machines book. That one is now in America. And I've got one as well. They're the only two I know of. Ouch. I should get the splinter out of my hand. The Rougher and Walker one we sold a few years back. And there's a few Myers ones around, singles and doubles I've seen over the years. There's a few around, those early ones. Again, it's odd that the early ones have survived, and yeah, the Nixsons one from the, whenever it was, 70 something. As far as we know, there's none left. Funny, isn't it? What else have I had in the past few days? I think I might have put some more Brenco bits up. I can't remember. Just have a quick look in the background here while you're flicking through these. Brencos. I'm sure there was something else I put up. So we'll have a quick look in a minute. And then we're looking for, which we'll perhaps do Tuesday night, because we've had some sent in, some Whitakers and Streets stuff. And after that, I think we might do Mayfields, because they do some quite interesting stuff. I'm a bit short on images of Mayfields, but we've got some names of machines. And Alca as well, they're quite interesting, Alca Electronics. And I think Alca were agent for Nixsons for a while, or for Nixsales, whichever. I've got a few Alca electronic machine pictures and details. But again, they're quite that sort of 70s era with some interesting odd machines. Hardly any of which seem to survive. The Magic Roundabout machine, we sold a couple of those. But they made fortunes, all sorts of stuff. They're agents. It's difficult to try and figure out what they made and what they were just agents for from other makers. But like Ruffer and Walker was kind of the same. I don't think Ruffer and Walker made anything. They were just agents, whereas Alca did make stuff, but they were also agents. So that makes it slightly more confusing. How are we getting on down here? I'll let you run through to the end, and then we'll just have a look at some other stuff then. So yeah, if anyone knows anything about any of these, do send more information through. The pages are all up on the website later on tonight, because we've got stuff selling tonight, and so we always hang about till after midnight, just in case there's any problems. So I'll upload all these images onto the relevant pages for Nixsons and Nixsales, so you can have a better look at them. And then probably next week sometime, let's say there's quite a few press cuttings as well. I just want to square them up and just try and tweak the resolution a little bit on them best we can, so you can read them. Some quite interesting little snippets from different magazines and things. There's, how many of those have I got? Can't remember offhand. Let me just have a quick look. Probably another, oh, I don't know, 20 or something little bits of press cuttings and things. A couple of other odd little adverts and bits and bobs. So yeah, I'll sort those out and get them uploaded as well. And yeah, so quite a lot of information there really to be had. But it's just a shame it appears that so little of it has survived, even though it's so, relatively speaking, modern. Let me just click that one down out of the way for a minute. The boats is a bit like the, who else made the model boats? Whittaker's, isn't it? Made the remote control boats and the trucks and things. I've sold odd ones in the past. Definitely the Skill Tees. I feel a wanted advert coming on for Skill Tees. I don't think we're going to find one, sadly. Even Darren. So yeah. The soccer caster I like the look of, just because it's a big deco flash on the top of it. Striker there. The teacher, of course. So we have one of those at least survive. Yeah, the little comedian. If anybody can remember seeing one go through the auctions, knows where it is now. It'd be nice to get a photo of it, or a video, even better of it playing. Don't think we're going to find a whisker. That looks a bit big to have survived. Must be, what, 5 foot square or something? Nick says there's a skill tease at Blackpool exhibition on YouTube. Ooh, that's good. We'll have to go and have a search that out then. David, yeah, a lot of them are too big for collectors. Yep, sadly. Have you ever had a computer space through the auction? No, I haven't. No, not had a computer space. Not had many videos at all, really, over the years. No. Zodiac, so we know there's a few of those about. I sold 3 or 4 over the years. We had a couple on site. This particular one, this black one, was mine. That got sold in the auction at the pier years ago. Back in 2003, I think it was, that one. 20 years ago, just about. So there we are. Let me just pop back over to the website for a minute. I was just trying to look through. I'm sure I added some extra Brenco bits. Match your fruit. We found some pictures of. There's one of those surviving somewhere. What else? Oh, Penny Popper. Somebody sent me some pictures of Penny Popper. Thank you. I can't remember who it was. Sorry. That many emails this week, but I'll get those sorted out and uploaded. Whoever it was who sent those. Where else did we get sent? I think another different bandit as well. I think I've got some pictures of somewhere along the line. Tinky, we were discussing this afternoon with Peter and Paul that we all want a Tinky Winky, as we keep calling them. But anyway, yeah, one of these. So yes, we'd love to find a Tinky machine. Fire ping pong balls up down Pinfield, and then you just bet on which one you thought it was going to land on. So that's quite fun. I think I did also put up a couple of more Crompton's bits I found, or people sent to me, whatever. Let's do a quick scan through the Cromptons. What else did we find? Cromptons. Oh, the water chute. Not very good resolution, but something's better than nothing. So if anyone's got a better image of water chute, either the flyer or the machine, whichever. Another pusher. So it's a little gap filled in. And I think we decided, Paul worked out that the Octo Push must be Crompton's, although it's not a Crompton's flyer, it's by a distributor. But the cabinet is similar, or identical basically, to a couple of other ones we'd got on there, to Carousel, and also to, what was the other one? There was another one, wasn't there? Same kind of dome with the same shaped top flash on. No, I can't see it. Bum, 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 bum. Octopus. Am I going completely mad? Probably. Carousel, Octopus. What was the other one? Oh, water chute. Duh. Again, that same shaped cabinet with the big dome and the kind of, what do you call that shape? Lozenge shape top flash on. There's a few more bits there I've added on. Greg says, evening all, just logged in with you playing with a Tinky. What can I say? What can I say? You've missed some interesting striptease slot machines, so you'll have to watch back again. But yeah. So yeah, so we're filled in a few more Crompton's gaps, a few more Brenco gaps. So what I'd like to do next, what we're working on, is I'm trying some of these British manufacturers, which we all remember playing the machines, but actually there's not very much information on. Whereas we know lots about Mills and Jennings and whatnot. Whittaker's was the other one we're working on. So I've got a few more machines listed, but there's lots more Whittaker's machines. And we need images, flyers, anything you've got. Anything Whittaker's E. Streets. How are we doing for streets? We've got 15 lifted there now, so there's more street stuff to be listed. Again, so if you've got anything there, then send it on over. Then Mayfield, I've now made a Mayfield page. Mayfield. I've only got 4 listed at the moment. In Paul today, Nick says the octopus are not Cromptons. Ah, it's interesting. Do you know who it is? We were speculating. We didn't know for sure who the octopus was. Ouch. Damn spender. Yeah, Mayfield. In Paul's lent me another couple of coin slots today, so I've got 4 or 5 now laying on the kitchen table to go through. And in the classified adverts, so there's no pictures usually, it's just words, but it'll be a Mayfield such and such, and there's a few more different ones listed. So I'll try and get all the names listed up if nothing else, and then it might trigger some memories. People say, oh yeah, I know what that is, or I've got a picture of it, or a flyer, or I've seen one somewhere. Because Mayfield's again made some really interesting stuff. The electronic dice is fabulous, a great big machine with a huge big dice cage in it, like the what's the casino game, the old American casino game? A huge tumbling cage with dice in, and it read the dice. So that's an interesting thing. 1966, apparently. Yeah, so Mayfield, and then Alka. Have I listed? I don't think I've listed many Alkas yet. Alka Electronics, no. But I've got another half a dozen or so flyers and bits and bobs I've found, including another pusher that Alka made. Or sold, I assume they make it. And some other interesting bits. So we'll do those sometime next week. So octopus not Cromptons. So I wonder who then. We were speculating. Maybe the other ones aren't Cromptons then. Don't know. Well, Carousel obviously is Crompton because there's Mr. Crompton. Unless they just sold it for whoever made it. I don't know. And Water Shoot is a Crompton's flyer. Alka Lucky 10, yeah, I think that's the flyer I've got. Let me just try and pull up my folder. You won't be able to see this at the minute because they're not sorted out, but I can tell you what Alka machines I've got some information on at least, waiting to be sorted out. Hang on a minute. Alka. What have I done with the Alka bits and bobs? I don't know. Got a big folder here of stuff, so let me just sort it by name and perhaps find it. Right, so I've got Alka Flying Circus, the Lucky 10 Pusher, Missile, Pontoon, Sky Gunner, Striker. Oh, that's it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 there, plus the ones I've got on the website already. So there's a few more. Oh, an attack. Alka attack. Which seems to be a great big thing, kind of a seat that's stuck out the front of it you sat on, and the seat moved with the gun thing. Massive machine. Just quite good fun to play. Any more Alka ones? Anyway, so if you've got anything Alka, send it in. Greg says, Barons in Great Yarmouth had an old dice tumbling machine. I expect Peter remembers it. That may well be then the... whatever it was I just referred to. So many machines going around in my brain at the moment, I can't remember what I'm talking about. The Mayfield electronic dice. Could be that. Or it could be, I remember one, and I can't remember what it was called. A double-sided machine. Long, like a pusher, double-sided pusher. But with perspex tubes on the top with dice in that blew up and down and did something. I can't remember what it did. But it wasn't, definitely wasn't the cage thing. I remember, distinctly remember these perspex tubes with big, I don't know, about 6 inches, 10 inches round, something like that, with biggish dice in. The things seemed bigger when you were a little kid than they probably really were, but. And yeah, bet on the numbers. But the dice sort of flew up vertically up and fell down again. So maybe that's the one in Barons in Yarmouth. I can't remember. I think the machine I remember was in Wells, at the arcade at the top of the one on the corner, not Gray's. Greg, yes, definitely plastic tubes, very big. Well, there we are. Then maybe it's that machine I remember from Barons. I only remember ever seeing it in one place, so it could have been in Barons perhaps, and not in Wells. But I can't remember what it was called. Bearing in mind I was probably about 5 or something at the time. And wasn't kind of tall enough to reach the slots to play it, I don't think. So yeah, if anyone knows what that was, I'd like to know, and so would Greg. So that's 2 of us need to know what this thing was. Please, somebody. What it was, and have you got one in the shed, please? But yeah, so let me stick a little note in here again. If you have any interesting old photos, etc., email to plop that in there, so it's in there for anyone looking at it later on. If you're watching this later on, i.e. not live, by the way, if you've sat through all that lot, you can always still leave a comment. I always read and respond to the comments that are left afterwards if you're not watching live. I'll keep meaning to say that at the beginning of the videos and always forget. I don't think I'm very good at this YouTubing lark, really, but never mind. So yeah, there we are. So a quick reminder then, what's selling tonight, if you haven't got your offers in yet, I've got 3 Bandits, very nice Chrome Deluxe Pace, a very nice high top, and a light top that needs a bit of a refurb job on it. Put a couple of other machines on Friday, a very nice World's Fair Jigsaw, pin table, and another high top, which is good, works, but ideally you'd probably want to strip and repaint it. It's for mica sided, but over the original solid oak side, so it will come out as a nice machine, that. Again, if you want a little bit of a refurb project, but works and plays nicely. Good back door on it with the Mills label and a proper Mills snake key lock as well. So bear that in mind. Dozens and dozens of bits and coins. Have a look through, see if there's anything you need out of all that lot. Let's run through these pictures again. I'll let these run again for a minute while we round things up probably. David said, look up Chuck a Luck or Birdcage Dice Game. Okay, can I do that in the background? Am I going to upset anything? Let me try looking this up, see if I can find anything. Chuck a Luck. Chuck a Luck. Yeah, that's like the Chuck Luck, the cage is exactly like the big Mayfield's machine, but it's like 2 or 3 foot long by the look of it in the machine. So that looks fun. Just going to quick scroll down images here. What was the other thing you said? Birdcage Dice Game. Yeah, it'll be the same thing, won't it? Birdcage. Oops. Birdcage Dice Game. Yeah, chuck up things. Yep. That's the thing. That's the Mayfield thing it's based on. So we know which one that is. I've got a couple of images of it. Not very good images, but you know, something's better than nothing. But the thing with the dice in the tubes that clearly I wasn't imagining, because Greg remembers it as well, I don't know what it was. What would you search for that? Slot machine, dice tube slot machine or something? I don't know. I would never actually search for it, as daft as it sounds. Dice tube slot machine. Let's just have a quick look, see if anything vaguely like it comes up. No, it's just all modern stuff. Like video game stuff. That's already not a very good search term. No, I don't know. We'll have to. It remains a bit of a mystery, that one. We'll try and track it down. But I'm glad I'm not the only one who remembers it. That's a good start. So at least I know it definitely existed and I didn't dream it. Yeah, I'll work on that one. Peter says, thanks, Nick, for sharing your family's history with us. Yes, absolutely. It's fascinating, really. There's lots of, let's say some of these little newspaper clips are good. I'll go through those and put them on the relevant pages after I've uploaded all the images, so you can find those and read them. Because some quite good little clips about, you know, what they made and when and how many they shipped and all that sort of stuff. Which ones are a success and things like that. Interesting little bits of information. And but yeah, then the extended history of the involvement with Shanklin Pier and the operating along the south coast. Yeah, the deal with London Coin that went sour, which ended up closing Nixsons down, and so then production moved into Nixsales and so on. Yeah, interesting, fascinating stuff, and to be able to get it all first hand is yeah, quite unusual, really, quite rare, isn't it? So it's quite a privilege, really. But most of these machines, and I'm sure like the rest of you, I've never seen before, didn't even know they existed, other than sort of the 2 or 3 pushes that we all kind of knew about. Yeah, never knew it was there, never knew it was made, never seen it, probably never will, because it doesn't exist anymore, sadly. But at least now we've got some images of it, and we know what most of it did, we know who made it, when it was made, how many in some cases, how much it was when it was new, which is interesting. So yeah, I'll put all this information together and see what else we can find out. And hopefully we can perhaps do the same with some other. I must try and get hold of people like Whittaker's and see what information they've got. And Brenner's, I haven't spoken to Anthony Brenner for years. I met him many years ago, 30 years ago probably now. So I'm sure they've got lots of interesting stuff. I hope to possibly in the future do an interview with one of the Barron family from Yarmouth, which is just about one of the very first amusement arcades in the country. So that could be interesting. So I'm working on a lot of little things in the background. David, good show tonight. Yeah, I found it absolutely fascinating. Yeah, it really is. So more. See what else we can find out. So there we are. Any more from anybody? Any more before we round up? Questions, comments? We need to know anything? Anybody got any bright ideas? Anyone got any more stuff we can look at? Then let me know. Otherwise, we'll wrap up shortly because it's rocking on to 10 o'clock. I'll go and have a cup of tea. And then night, Peter, I'll upload all this stuff sort of overnight, really, so you can see it all tomorrow. I'll do that while I'm waiting for the sales to finish tonight. With a cup of tea, get it all uploaded onto the website. There's a little tally. I'll show you in a minute. Just wait for this last image to come up again. There we go. It's back to the start again, isn't it? So on the home page of the website, I've put a little bit here. Did I forget to put tonight's link on? That was a bit stupid of me, wasn't it? Duh. Too much to think about. A database build here. So this just keeps a tally. This is automatically updated. So on a continuous rolling month. So you see there's 169 new information pages been created. So an information page is like the page about a specific machine, as the most machines at the moment, be fairground things or whatever in due course. But so, you know, each of those Nixon machines has created a page, but overall we've put 169 new info pages and updated 211 other ones. 60 new photographs, and that's in addition to the photographs of stuff for sale. So this is extra photographs. So photographs is of stuff that we know exists. So people have sent in a picture of their machine or one they've seen somewhere or whatever, or ones I've found. Then the archive stuff is all the, like we've seen tonight, is pictures of stuff that, you know, in old trade catalogues, World's Fairs, instruction manuals, patent drawings, old photographs from years gone by, whatever. That's all counts as the archive stuff. So this just continuously updates. So you'll see later on tonight as I upload all these other photographs that we've just seen, 50 different ones is there. The new archive resource bit will jump up as I add all that lot on. So it just gives you a rough idea of what's been going on. And that, although nothing appears to be changing, I am working on everything all the time. It does take quite a bit of work. It's a bit stupid of me not to put the link on tonight. Always forget something. Never mind. So there we are. So I think that's probably about it for tonight. So keep it coming. thank you very much indeed to Nick for sharing all that stuff with us. I'm sure we've all learnt a lot. I certainly have. And hopefully we'll learn a bit more as well as the time goes on. Greg can go and have a cup of tea and start back from the start again. Night, David. And we'll do it all again Tuesday night. We'll perhaps have a look at the streets and Whitaker's stuff Tuesday, what I've got so far, along with the sale results for tonight. And then Friday we'll probably do the Alcas and Mayfields, perhaps. So if you've got any Alca or Mayfield, so I put a little thing in here. I'm looking for info on Whitaker's street. So these is in particular Alca and Mayfield for next week's shows. I call it shows in inverted commas because you can hardly call it a show, but you know what I mean. So if you've got any of that, please send it in. Right, so I think that's it. As I say, if you need to know anything about the machines that are finishing tonight or anything else that's selling next week, there's a whole load of spares, coins and some more machines, send me a message via the website and I'll get onto it. I've got some packages to send out next week, so if you've got anything here that can be posted to you and you want it posted, let me know. I'm around. I'm probably going to be Elephant House tomorrow briefly. I don't know when yet, probably early afternoon, something like that. So if you need anything, you want to meet me there. But I'll also be there later in the week, probably Wednesday or Thursday. Not sure at the moment, but one or the other, definitely. If you want to collect or deliver from the Elephant House in Leamington Spa. Other than that, I'm around Cambridge all week. There we are. That's it. Hope that was fun for you all. Hope you all enjoyed it. And we'll do it all again next Sunday with another load of stuff. So there we are. Right, that's it. I'm off. Nighty night. Thanks, and a special thanks to Nick as well. And we'll catch up soon, no doubt. Nighty night.